Howdy Toasters, hopefully you guys are doing good. Today we're going to kick back a little bit, also because my Advanced Warfare Beatbox Funny Moments is completely corrupted, but I still want to interact with you guys, and what better way to interact with the series hashtag regrets. And today, as the title says, the most regrettable of them all, I think, one night stands. And if you can tell in the tone of my voice that I think there's a percentage of people that would say most of the time one night stands are regrettable. You know, it's just kind of one of those scenarios that you give the most vulnerable personal side of yourself to somebody you really don't know in a circumstance that you really don't think you want to be in, but whoopsie daisies, I'm here, and now I am thinking about it the next day or later that day or even in the walk of shame about how I regretted that moment with that person. Now, I just want to get this out of the way. This is the best search and destroy gameplay I've ever gotten in Call of Duty, and it was the first one I ever got on Advanced Warfare. So enjoy with your eyes as we dip into, ew, that sounds kind of weird, as we go into the regrets of my past and possible future, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. But the best part about regrets and learning in life is that you need to have these conflicts and these problems to learn. Unfortunately, that's the way. And for me personally, having something go wrong and making mistakes is the best way that I learn. And I hate that that's the way. It's not for everything, but I feel like the most critical things that I've learned in life have been through losses, mistakes, conflicts, problems, and then it's like, well, yay, now I know after I went through all this stuff. But for you guys, and hopefully you can all relate, girls and guys, that most of the time a one night stand is something that people frown upon but get themselves into more than they want to. And I'm not bragging by any means, because one night stands are fun in the moment, but then after it's kind of like, that I don't know if it was worth it. Depending on what happens after. Maybe the person gets a little clingy. Maybe you start falling for that person and that person doesn't care. I mean, it's not like the movies where you can just hit it and quit it, or hit it and keep hitting it, like Friends with Benefits and all no strings attached kind of movies where you can like bang in the bowling alley, bang behind the dumpster, go in the bathroom, at work, you know, in the car, in the tub, every single place you could think of to, you know, further the plot in the movie. They can bang. But that's not how it is in real life. And you might have that, and if you do, well, good. You might as well just be in a relationship then, because if you're banging that much and you don't want to have a relationship, that's kind of just showing a sign of, I don't want to commit to somebody at all. It's bull that you're like, oh, I'm busy, I got work, school, Xbox. It doesn't count. So the fact that if you're one of those people that can just be in a friends with benefit scenario and just every week you're like, hey, you want to go do this, do that, but not commit to an actual relationship, it's just kind of like, it will eventually creep up onto you where you're like, oh no, psychologically I'm having fun, but at the same time, I think I'm falling for this person, and this person doesn't like me. They have friends that they do it with too. And then next thing you know, you're alone. Forever alone, man. That statement came from somewhere, and I think one night stands is where it came from. So for me, like I said before, I'm not bragging, but I've been in a bunch of scenarios, aka one night stands, aka naked and afraid, and I didn't want to be in these scenarios, especially after. And yes, it's easy to say no, but for some reason for me, I have a really hard problem making people, like, I hate when people are mad at me. I hate when people are upset with me. And I try everything in my right mind not to make somebody kind of like bummed out, because then it makes me bummed out. I'm like, oh, but that's the problem. That's where I'm learning right now, is that put up that wall. Say no to the poontang. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're upset at certain things, and you want to take your mind off. You can't watch a movie. You can't watch Parks and Rec. You just want to get that off your mind. So one night stands is usually kind of like, hey, I kind of like you, but don't really like you. I just want to bang you and then go away and never talk to you ever again. And that is mainly resulted from, hey, I have an ex-boyfriend. Or if you're a girl, maybe the guy had a girl and you're like the rebound kind of scenario, but you're not really a rebound because you're not dating. He's just using you to have sex to get something off his mind. I think that is what one night stands are. For me personally, and I've said this before in my other regret videos, is that making love, having sex should mean something. It should mean something. And when you find that someone that you want to spend an extreme amount of time with, then making love is something that you save for them because it's personal. I mean, having sex is super personal, and one night stands is basically just, opening your... It's basically like opening your legs and saying, hey, I don't care about anything. Let's just have sex. And then regret it after. Hashtag regrets. I've been in some certain circumstances where I had to kind of say no to somebody after a while because I was like, hey, and I felt like a jerk because we had that one night stand and it wasn't as special as I thought it would be. There's no like, fireworks, shooting stars. No, it's not like that. That's what the movies make it. That's what the shows make it like. But in reality, it is not like that at all. Most of the time, it's disappointment. And I'm sure the girls can relate. They'll be like, yeah, disappointing. Didn't even go, oh. I hope that you guys can give me some feedback. You don't have to get detailed information, but, have you been in this scenario where maybe you could have said no and you didn't say no, or you had the one night stand, or even it could even be the equivalent of kissing somebody for the first time that you didn't want to kiss, and I mean, especially losing your virginity to somebody that you didn't want to lose it to, that's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life. Or not really, but it's just gonna be like in the back of your head always. You'll never forget that person you lost your virginity to, the first person you kissed, the first date you went on with that special person that you thought at the time. And then you realize that, oh, they're jerks, they were using me, they cheated on me, all these things. And I think that's why one night stands happen more often than anything. I mean, for God's sakes, there's apps, Tinder. But it's just, one night stands are just something that is full of disappointment, obvious regret, and sometimes you can get something good out of it. Maybe you do talk to that person for a while, but I feel like one night stands are basically just a fast lane to not having a solid relationship, especially if you do go into a relationship. Because most of the time, the people who say no to having sex, they have standards. And especially what I'm looking at a girl is someone who has standards. Unless you've been talking to them for a really, really long time and then you finally meet or something, if it's a significant scenario that is like very unique, then maybe having that moment for the first time is something very special because you talked about it and there's been other things like as far as like online relationships go, especially something like that. But most of the time, if you find a girl or you find a guy that's like, nah, sorry, like I'll take you home, I'll say goodnight, I'll give you a hug, maybe a kiss on the cheek, and we'll see what happens next time, or we'll talk later. I personally really respect people that way. And if you do make mistakes, don't worry. If you're a person that's been in the one night stand scenario like I have, it's not the worst thing in the world. Basically, it's just something that kind of is like, whatever, like why did I do that? But I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and hopefully you enjoyed this topic. Let me know if you've gone through a one night stand or something similar. Maybe you had that kiss that you didn't want to have with that person. We've all definitely been down that road. And so let me know what your experiences are. I love hearing what you guys have to say. Beatbox Funny Moments definitely coming soon. I have to re-record a bunch of stuff and try and fix the corrupted things from Advanced Warfare, but I'm excited to show you some stuff from there. There's a lot of good stuff coming, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Shake 'em and bake 'em. Don't care, we just playing Advanced Warfare. Got Geo, he's the one, straight Neo.